Hello out there, everybody. Isaac here. 20 years have brought us to this point today. This farewell and looking forward to of what comes next. Today for our interval with Sergio and I will be giving our review and take on Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kizuna. For those of you who don't know him and haven't checked out other videos I've done with him, this is my good friend Sergio.
Hello.
Sergio and I share many of the same interests when it comes to shows, movies, video games, and general entertainment. There are some off points from this. He is a bigger fan of Star Wars, much more than I am. And yeah, that's the main one I can think of usually. So there is that, but most of the time we have similar interests, and we grew up with Digimon, both of us, in the same thing, watching it from when it started back in 1999 and seeing it through to this point today, with missing some parts like Data Squad and Fusion, Atmon, and not fully being caught up on the new 2020 Adventure series. But we actually went through at one point as well most of the series, watching like Digimon O2, Tamers, and Frontier together.
Yeah.
So before we dive into the review, you can see back here our little companions joining us. Digimon having dominance over Pokemon, of course. Not to know Pikachu with Gatomon. I don't have a lot of Digimon merchandise or anything. That's why I just have a normal My Hero Academia shirt. And the Gatomon is literally the only stuffed animal I have from Digimon, or toy in any way at this point. So yeah, I want to get more, but that is the best way I can show their dominance over a sleeping Pikachu. She knocked him out and has dominance over him. So if you like today's video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and let us know in the comments some of your greatest memories of Digimon from the past 20 years. Also, if you aren't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell to all to be notified of when new videos come out. And with that, we're going to move into our review for Digimon Last Evolution. So Digimon still has some of the same voice actors that it has had for the past 20 years. Like, they went from probably the time they were 19, 20, maybe mid-20s even, to what we saw as mid-40s now in some of the extras on the DVD. And it's great to see them in these same roles, with some changing throughout the time as well. But it's kind of nice, but also a little sad to hear the voices in the English dub being so different from what we heard back in the day. Like, we hear them like growing up as some of them, and that's really nice to see the same ones and just growing up, but hearing some of them be so different from what they are was really like off-taking. I know you, Sergio, even noticed with one of them. I can't remember who it was.
I think it was from the season 2 of Digimon, the Armadillomon.
Armadillomon, yep.
He had more of like a cowboy voice, and in this one he had more of a cartoony voice.
Yeah, I do remember him being almost like a kind of cowboy back in the original.
Like that Western drawl kind of thing.
And now he kind of almost had like a regular voice almost for like cartoon. However, as we say, some of them have stayed the same as well. And as we mentioned on the extras of the DVD, the voices of Tai and Agumon get a like nice extra section of talking about their voice acting and about how they've been with Digimon for the last 20 years. It's literally called The Final Evolution, Remembering 20 Years of Digimon Adventure. So they've been in that same role for 20 years with Digimon Adventure, O2, and then Try, and now this. So really awesome to know that like they've grown alongside these characters, and it has the same effect on them almost as it does us, of this moving on from this now and not really knowing what's going to happen next with it or anything. So great to hear that they like how they grew the voice along with the character for the voice of Tai, and how also just like hearing how they like have their different takes on doing different things for voice acting, like sometimes closing their eyes to get into the real role of it, and
the
having to like the emotional state, yes, and like having to do it like 3 times and choosing the best of the 3, and other little cool little voice acting things like that you don't get to hear or know about from just seeing it, but can hear from those who do it. So it's nice that the characters have grown up and that we got to adventure along with them as the voice actors did. The animation for Last Evolution, I actually really liked this animation and seeing the new evolutions and designs and the like they really shortened the evolution sequences too, which was kind of cool and didn't like do too much animation for it or anything, which was always nice to like see those, but it's also nice to have that time to go into the story rather than focusing on that too much.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of that thing that Digimon does, the evolution animation.
Yeah.
They had it, but
I think they had it like twice.
Every single time.
No.
You know what I mean?
Even like for like big evolutions, it just kind of went right into them, almost like just it happening in a ball of light rather than focusing on.
I remember in the classic cartoon, that taking up like at least 5 minutes, just the evolution, the Digivolutions.
Throughout the episodes, yeah. It's kind of like if they did what Dragon Ball did with Dragon Ball Kai.
Charging it. Oh, yeah.
They take out all the like extra of charging and everything. If you took out the Digivolutions, how much less would Digimon be? The evolution sequences, the ones they had looked good still, but they weren't like drawn out in the way that some of it was.
Like with the spinning, and like Agumon Digivolve 2.
Yeah.
Greymon Digivolve 2. Metal Greymon, and then all that stuff.
They did.
I loved it in the old ones when they did a lot of evolutions at once, and it would just be like super fast,
or like have them all in like sections all together.
Yeah.
That was always interesting, and like the Digivolution theme that they had for it.
Digimon.
So the music for this movie was used a lot from past seasons and from Try. A lot of the same music and songs from it, but it did add a couple little extra emotional pieces of its own.
3 new songs?
Was it 2 or 3? I know the end one I think was new.
Added the one where they evolve into the 2 new ones.
Yep.
And then the ending.
Yeah, because I think one of those is actually from Try though as well.
Oh really?
Yeah. Okay. Like I think they brought it back over from Try.
I haven't watched all of Try.
That's okay. It's good, but this was definitely better in my opinion than Try. So they added emotion at the right points with the music, of course, and just brought it all together nicely with that, as music does in movies, and as I appreciate from the musical side. Digimon Last Evolution does follow after Try, and is a continuation. It's not set up in some alternate universe or anything like that. It seemed like it might be at first, but then when we get into our spoilers, you'll hear why we know for certain it definitely follows after Try. And it definitely brings out some great things that have come throughout 01, 02, and Try, with the Digidestined growing up and moving into their life, continuing to move on. And that's one of my favorite things with Digimon compared to really any other anime I've ever watched or cartoon, that the characters actually grow up and age, and you go alongside life with them. You go through this adventure with them and see what happens as they continue to go through it, and you get to experience it with them. So what was some of your favorite parts of the movie? Or like your favorite aspect of Digimon in general as an OG fan as well?
I really liked how, I remember in the first one how the big thing when I was watching it first was like, what is... Because they all evolved into their champion forms in the first part of the first season, right?
Yep.
The Devimon arc. And like, I remember when finally Patamon evolved into Andromon, it was just like, whoa! Mind blasting. And how he beat Devimon with one attack by sacrificing himself. That was cool. I always loved seeing the next evolutions. Those were always my favorite episodes. Like, first seeing them all turning into the champions, and then in the next part of them all going ultimate, and then I don't know if I think didn't only Did they get a Mega? I think in Tri they did.
They
right?
all got a Mega in Tri finally.
Yeah, I didn't see all of Tri, but I remember that was really cool. Yeah, basically anytime Patamon evolved from one stage to the next, like when he became Magna Angemon, I was like,
yep. His were always one of the
cool.
bid ones.
Yeah.
He was always a bid focus for it.
Yeah, it was really cool. And like the fights with all the bosses. Like, do you remember? Oh, what was his name? The monkey guy who like talked like Elvis in the English dub.
Oh,
What was his
Edamon.
name? Edamon, and then Meta Edamon.
Yep, Metal Edamon. Oh.
Yeah, just basically like, and then I remember, what was his name? The Sabermon or?
Saber Leomon?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Leomon, and then later on, yeah.
There's
so
been
cool.
a Leomon so much, and he always dies. Poor Leomon.
He always sacrifices
Leomon gets
himself.
the short end.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was always awesome seeing new Digimon, and like the first time being like, that's so awesome, and like the new.
Oh, and when they were getting their crests, the whole thing was all about character growth in that specific way.
Yep.
And that was really cool too.
Yeah. So overall, Last Evolution, I would give it an 8 out of 10. The development of the characters, the music, as I said, and the new addition to the Digimon universe in this movie made for quite a good movie. There's a sense of uncertainty at the end still, and some spots that weren't looked at as much in depth as would have been nice to see. But it does a pretty good job at tying everything together, yet leaving it open at the same time for the future as life is. You can feel a sense of finality to things, but you're still like, there's still more that's going to happen and move on to. Just because one thing ends in life or one relationship comes to a close, whether someone moves away or whatever happens, it doesn't mean that that's permanent necessarily, or that you don't continue moving forward in life and looking to how it continues. But life is constantly changing, and I'll admit it did bring some tears to my eyes, but also some incredible awe-inspired moments with seeing some major additions, not to mention a bit of chills with some of the creepiness throughout it.
Oh yeah.
Right? What would you give as an overall rating, Sergio?
I think I agree with your rating, like an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Awesome.
Because there was a lot of cool new stuff, but nothing that was like
super
I
spectacular.
guess at the end that was pretty.
That one. That's
the
what
final
brought it
fight
up.
was really cool.
Like it'd probably be without that. It'd probably be like a 7 or 6 almost for me even.
Yeah, the final fight between the good guys and the bad guys was awesome.
Yeah. So now we are going to move into the spoilers. So if you're avoiding spoilers like we did until you get the chance to watch it, or if you just however you're avoiding spoilers, now is your time to click off, and I'll give you your typical 5 seconds. So you have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you're still here, clearly you either don't care about spoilers and being spoiled for the movie, or you've already watched it and so it really doesn't matter. First, we're going to move into the Christian perspective, as I usually do at this point, and it really focuses on bonds and relationships in this movie, and they're such an important thing in life and a big piece of life. The relationships we have and people we have bonds with impact us throughout life and shape us into the people we become in one way or another. The friends you see me with in my videos or hear in my videos, Tyler, Sergio, Dan, Rory, Paula, my wife Charlotte, they've all had different impacts on me and had different roles and parts of me that they have shaped. I've developed similar interests, tones, speech, or personality traits from each of them. God leads us to have interactions and be involved in people's lives, sharing his love in the way he has made us to, and having a part in people's lives that wouldn't play out the same way with someone else or anything. This may be a reason, a season, or longer, and it can be hard to think of moving on after that, but God continues to equip us and form us through these relationships while he forms others through them as well, to continue spreading his word and love to others in the best way possible for us, and in the way he has planned for us. In Last Evolution, we see this with Taimat, Arumon, and Dabumon specifically. We don't see too many others, too much of this, but as they all help each other to grow throughout their lives, and even ask each other of what they will continue doing even after they go their separate ways, discussing how they have loved seeing each other grow and change, and how they have had an impact on one another. The final evolution even is the combination of the growing and changing together, and brings about a combination of what they have brought out and grown in one another. Strength, courage, and friendship as their crests were. We also see through Minoa, the villain, though, what can happen when we try to rush through these and look out for only what is best for ourselves, or what we think we want or gain from relationships, rather than how those relationships form us and have an impact on us while we have them, and how we continue to do our best for the others in that relationship as well and impact them. This movie did bring tears between my eyes, as I say, just having the loss of your friend, but also showed me confidence of, even if you do have that loss or moving away of a friend in some way, or any kind of loss, that you can continue hoping and moving forward to the future, knowing that you continue to have them in your life and all the ways they have impacted you and shaped you. The final evolution for Dabumon and Arumon, that are very human-like in my opinion, like even more so than War Greymon. Like you literally see like
a
skin,
human mouth.
yeah,
Kind of thing, yeah,
and like features like that. So it was really cool that it's like this combination of everything they've become together and how they've shaped each other. So that was really cool and awesome, and I think they're actually probably one of my favorite new evolution and Digimon designs in a while. Like there's some Ats antibody evolutions and designs that are pretty cool, but these ones, just like the way it brings it all together, really was cool. Because that's one thing I really liked about Frontier and made it one of my favorites, was like how the Digimon and human were like so together in a way, rather than it just being like someone fighting for you. It's you fighting together. So what were your thoughts on the villain, Sergio? Our villain Minoa.
I feel like it was a tragic villain. Like she went through something very tragic, but losing her Digimon partner very early in her life, because she, what I gathered from her flashbacks was that she was different from the other kids. Like she was really smart, and because of that she didn't have any friends. They ostracized her, and so she was in a hurry to grow up so that she wouldn't have to deal with that. But in her haste to grow up, she lost her Digimon partner because she lost her potential or something, whatever
they explain it as.
And that very much affected her, because her Digimon partner was her only friend, and the loss of that might have damaged her psychologically, as we see in the movie. And that made her do something that I guess she thought was for the best, but it wasn't, you know? So it was like one of those classic, I'm doing this kind of like...
to help everybody.
Like a Thanos kind of thing, where it's like, the only way I can save everyone is by
killing half of
everyone.
Yeah, definitely that typical, almost like...
Yeah, I'm doing it for your own good kind of thing.
Yeah, and like a godlike complex of being like, I'm the only one who can fix it and save you all in the way I know.
Especially with the whole last boss fight.
Completely combining and being like, I have to be the one to do it. Like everything relies on me to...
When she finally showed herself to be the villain, it was just like, oh, it was like creep town.
It was creepy. I definitely agree. She gave me the creeps and like feeling of the baby ravens from Teen Titans, where like at some points where they're like in Tridon's realm, and they're like, turn back, turn back, and then bro like sits eyes and fly at you.
Right, I remember that.
Yes, definitely gave me the same kind of creeps as that, and I do feel like really bad for her in some sense, but I'm also like, I feel almost worse for her partner Digimon, because like while she had it and like that whole, she almost was like pushing it away because of like the trying to grow up. Like as I was trying to iterate in this perspective of being like, she wasn't really looking at how that relationship was doing or affecting things, but looking at how like she can move on to something different and the way she wants things to be rather than what she does have.
Yeah.
And it did make her, like, it literally broke her psychologically. I agree, the grief she couldn't deal with in any way, just completely breaking her.
Yeah.
I did love in this, though, that the Season 2 kids got a lot more screen time than they had in Try. They got a bigger focus than all the Season 1 kids, which that was kind of sad, not seeing the Season 1 kids and Digimon really too much, aside from Izzy and Ty and Matt and Kari and TK for a bit, but the Season 2 kids and Izzy they got about the same screen time, and Ty and Matt then had the huge focus, of course, always being the main two. Yeah. It's interesting that way, but yeah, I really like it because Stingmon has always been one of my favorite champion Digimon and one of my favorite partners. Like Wormmon, all his time with Ken and all the feels for him as like just trying to be there for Ken almost actually makes me feel like Minoa again, like how Morphomon would have been trying to be there for her and like supporting her, but Minoa being like, I just need to grow up, I need to get to where I'm accepted, and Ken being the same way, being like, I just need to rule and be me. I need to be better than everybody. Oh, the reason we know it's a continuation of Try is that Meiko and Meikumon actually do appear. Yes. It's like literally quick, like a second or two.
1 second.
Ty mentions that he sees Meiko.
Seeing them at the end area.
Yep. And Ty being like, oh, there's Meiko. And that's literally the only reason it connects to Try in any way.
Yeah.
The one thing that that does kind of what dropped it to an 8 for me and I didn't enjoy was the unansweredness of Sora and Biomon. And if you know more about it or caught more of it than I did, let us know below in the comments and stuff. But I felt like I didn't really know what happened there. Like, it kind of just happened. It showed it at points and kind of gave you pieces, but it's like, nah, it just happened to Sora. Like, she just grew up.
Yeah, she really got like sidelined. They all kind of did. Like, none of the Season 1 kids had a huge impact on the story, and you rarely see them in the fight with the Digimon in the movie. But yeah, Sora, not at all. Because
Izzy got to join a fight, and TK and Kari did.
Yeah.
But then nobody else fought in any way.
At the end, when they managed to,
break free.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, why are we here?
Yep. Yeah. Because, like, even Sora wasn't there with them at all.
No.
Like, she literally got the shortest end of the stick. Which was... I always really liked Sora and seeing her, like, caring for the group and stuff. But this time she's, like, completely isolated and off. So it was a very different kind of Sora. So, however, with that, as it brings us to the close of the movie, it brings us to the end of a review as well. And much like the Adventure Kids into adulthood, it's bringing finality to this with their Digimon. Hopefully you get the chance to check out Last Evolution if you haven't, and hopefully you look forward to what is coming next in Digimon, whether that's with the Adventure 2020 series and what's in store for it, or whether it's what Digimon continues to move forward to in the future. I know I'm also looking super forward to Digimon Survive. I'm waiting for that to come out, and it's been more than a year. It's been delayed, I think, actually now at this point.
Wasn't it supposed to come out sometime this year?
It was supposed to come out, I think, like almost the end of 2019 at first, or early 2020.
Like basically.
Then it got delayed to like November 2020. Now it's 2021 when I most recently looked at it. So it's like, I just really want to see it, play it, see what it's like compared to other games. But in the meantime, I'm also probably going to move into Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth and start streaming it as well. Maybe Sergio will be able to join me sometimes for it, but if not, I'm going to do it on my own too at points. But until the next time, and hopefully you have a great day, night, afternoon, sleep, meal, whatever time and thing you may be doing. And I'll see you around next time, and we'll see Sergio whenever he can join us as well.
Yeah.
Bye, guys!
Bye.